Morning, everyone. It's Jan, Not a Real Farm. Beautiful Sunday morning here at Not a Real Farm. You can hear the birds are out and singing. It's a beautiful day to garden. But what I thought I would do is, a few of you have asked for an update on the pond. So let's take a look over here. Hopefully I don't shake the camera too much. Okay, let me put my coffee cup down here. So here is the pond. My husband is a one-man show. And essentially what we're doing with the pond is the pond itself, as you can see there's a secondary ledge, is going to sort of be, I guess you could look at it as steps. So it's going to come down to the first step, and you can see here, I'll move on over. So you have your top level where you can walk around the pond, and then it's going to come down to the next level, and then it's slowly going to go down into the pond. And we're going to dig it a little bit deeper. But the idea is to have sort of a gentle slope going down into the pond. And what we're going to be doing is, because we have nothing but sand here, is we're going to have to line it. We do have the liner. Yes, it's a very big liner. But we're almost at that stage where once we're able to finish this next tier, I guess if you want to look at it that way, my husband is then going to dig it down a little bit deeper, and then we're going to lay the liner down. And I'm going to try and put that on video for you so you can see how challenging this is going to be. Because remember, so far there's only the three of us. So we'll see how that goes. It'll probably take a few days to get it done, but we're determined more than ever to get it done, considering what's going on with food prices. We're going to be putting or stocking this with fish, of course. So we'll keep you guys updated on that, but I just wanted to show you that we are just at the part now where we're just going to put the secondary tier down, and then we're going to start lining up the liner once it's dug down a little deep to get into it. So I thought I would just bring you along this morning while I'm having coffee. I get a lot of questions about the garden beds that I use in my greenhouse and outside because they're industrial looking and they're made of steel. So here, we're sort of in the process of setting up an additional, I'm going to say 4 garden beds. And this is going to be crops that deer do not like to eat. So I don't have to sit here and put it all together with another fence and go through that. So there's going to be landscape fabric that's going to be put down, and each one of these beds is going to sit most likely in that direction, north-south direction, so that we're able to put our garlic, maybe carrots. Deer like to nibble the top of carrots, but they don't necessarily like the taste of carrots, but we'll see. But a lot of this is just going to be garlic and onion, because we always tend to run out of onion in the wintertime, so it's most likely going to be storage onions as well. So I just wanted to show you what they look like, because most of the time when you see my garden beds, they're actually full of dirt and you can't see the bottom. So there's absolutely no bottom in these garden beds. So you can see they're just sort of they're just hollowed out. In between, you've got 2 rods that connect. And what that does is it helps keep the garden bed basically together if there's a lot of pressure from the dirt pushing against the sides of the garden bed. And then usually what I do at the bottom here is I will put landscape fabric down first, and then I'll sit the garden bed actually over the landscape fabric before I fill it with whatever I'm doing. So all of the beds are like that. And I get my garden beds from raisedgardenbeds.ca. They've been really great. They've got great customer service. There's a gentleman there named Ray, and he is fabulous. Even if you want to give a quick call and talk about the sizes you might need, there's a ton of different customized sizes. These are 10 feet. A lot of them are 10 feet by 30 or 10 feet by 36. And I do have a few that are about 24 inches as well. It just depends on what I want to plant. So they've got lots of inventory. So if you guys are interested, it's raisedgardenbeds.ca. And they come packed like this. So when you get your full set, if you decide to order a full set of garden beds, they come like this, strapped to, wood or a pallet. And then what will happen is they're strapped and they get delivered right to the house. wherever you are. And you can see here, you've got multiple pieces to put together. And it'll also come with the hardware with it as well. So you'll have screws and bolts and nuts that put together, and they all go on the outside like this. And they fasten on the inside like this. So these are not complicated builds. They're literally two pieces that you put together. You put your rods in the middle. And if you're doing landscape fabric, away you go. So you just put it on top of the landscape fabric, fill it with whatever, and start planting. So it's something that somebody could even do if they were a lot more talented than I am with tools on their own. So I just wanted to show you that that's what we're doing. We're going to do 4 more beds on the outside, and we're going to put basically crops in that deer really don't like to chew on. So that is one of our other tasks for this weekend, and let's take a look inside. All right, so it's first thing in the morning here in the greenhouse. You can see the sun is just coming up. It's gorgeous in here, perfect temperature to begin planting this morning. But if you notice, remember I had the trellis here. It's gone. So I'm going to turn around really quick and show you what I did and where I put it. So what I did was I put the trellis that I just pointed out over the door. And so remember I said to you that I had 2 red climbing roses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the red climbing roses climb right up over the doorway. So when you walk in, it's another focal point for, just relaxing and staring at and smelling every now and again when you walk through the door. It's really just to beautify the greenhouse. And as much as I like to do a lot of industrial growing, it is something where you need to feel that you can come in here and you can relax and sort of just take stop and smell the roses, I think is the saying. So we're going to be having the red roses grow right up over the door. And there is another trellis that's coming, but this one is going to be interesting. So I'll save that surprise for later. The reason I like to come in here really early in the morning sometimes too, while the sun is just coming up, is because you can catch all the different spider eggs. They'll actually glint in the sun. And then what I can do is I can actually put some spray on them to get rid of the spider mites. I was doing that yesterday morning, walking around, taking a look and seeing what was going on with some of the bug situation. I do see that the stink bugs are out. I was hoping that they were going to hold off a little bit longer this year, but that's not the case. Here's my roses this morning. So these roses have become so heavy that what I've had to do is I've had to come through. See how they droop because they get so heavy because there's 3 blossoms on each one. So I've actually had to come in here, and on a lot of them I've had to put tomato clips so that they hold up the roses. I wasn't expecting this many blooms this year. It's definitely tripled the blooms that I got last year, but that's what I was doing in here yesterday. And we put something else up that you guys I think are going to like, but I got to get closer to it to show you. So here it is. So remember we were talking about putting cattle panel up all the way down to the middle of the greenhouse so that we could attach our grapes and attach our tomatoes. So my husband, thank you, hubby, thank you, happy Mother's Day to me, was in here yesterday for 3 hours because it's extremely difficult to fasten cattle panel to this greenhouse, not for the sake of fastening it, but trying to, because if you look at the design, some of the boards come down and some of them go up. So it's a little bit difficult to try and keep it even all the way across, but somehow he did it and he made it look amazing. So thank you. I love you. That was a great Mother's Day gift. So my grapes can now have the ability to attach the vines going all the way up. And what he did was, we went all the way down to the middle, so I'll show you. So we've got the cattle panel bolted basically to the walls so that it's able to hold the tension of all the fruit, especially with the grapes and the cucumbers and everything else that are going to attach themselves. So you can see here we've got tomatoes, so they'll be able to attach onto this. So where all the little pink labels are all of my new plantings. But you can see here that there's a set of tomatoes there and there's a tomato there. So now what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to, rather than using all the strings like I was for the last, I think, 2 years, I'll be able just to take the tomatoes and basically attach them with tomato clips right onto the cattle panel. And voila, I don't have to worry about trying to tie and rearrange with strings. I've tried the strings. The strings make me impatient. Sometimes if you knot them too hard, what'll happen is they'll cut through your vine, and I didn't want that. So we had a ton of cattle panels sort of just hanging around, trying to decide what we wanted to do with it. And so that was my solution for trying to make sure that everything was secured, and it turned out great. Here's a couple of my other tomatoes. We're going to try and jam this place with a lot of food this year. Fall is going to be busy because you guys know that I freeze dry and I can my food. So we're going to be making a lot of pasta sauces, lots of tomato, just even tomato sauce as a base so that we can use it. I make a lot of sausages with tomato base and then throw rice in it, and it tastes amazing. And it comes in handy when you can't figure out anything else to make for the evening. You just throw some sausages with some onion and some garlic and some nice rice and let it soak it up. Easy, simple dish. More tomatoes. So it ends right about here. That was the end of our roll. So it basically, let me just back on out here. Get to the other side. So one roll of cattle panel basically did pretty much almost half of the circumference of my greenhouse. So it starts from here and it goes all the way around right to the end. That's one roll of cattle panel. So if we wanted to, we could probably do a roll and a half, and my entire greenhouse would have cattle panel attached to it in case I wanted to use it for vines or flowers or blackberries, as I have here. So it's amazing. I'm totally happy with it. It turned out really good. You can see here that it's actually bolted in. It's not going anywhere. And then what he did was bolted it in here. So you can see we've removed the screw, we've put it in behind, and then we re-bolted it up. So it's not going anywhere. It's awesome. I can't wait to see how the grapes and everything turn out on it. But anyways, once again, thank you to my husband. I know I ask a lot of him sometimes, so thank you very much. Love you. So here, what I've done is another crop that deer really don't like, but apparently the spider mites do. You can see here, look at this. That is a spider mite trail, so I got to get rid of that. But these are currants. So these are black currants, and the deer really don't like currants. So I don't have to baby them as much. I could probably plant these outside. The deer really don't like the smell of the currant plants. So if you're looking to grow things that are deer-proof, currants work. They don't necessarily like gooseberries either, which is over here. I have a red gooseberry that we're going to be planting. I got 5 of those. The reason why they don't like these is because, if you take a look really closely, they're full of thorns. So if you've ever seen a wild gooseberry, you can see how much thorns that are actually on the bush. And I can't tell you how many times I've hurt myself trying to harvest gooseberries. But anyway, so another great crop that a deer will not touch is gooseberries. If you've had a different experience, let me know. But so far, the experience I've had is that the deer stay clear of my gooseberries. But we have 10 black currant plants that we're going to be putting outside. You see how all the projects start piling up, right? At the beginning of the day, we actually run out of time to get all the stuff done. We have good intentions. We get up really early, but sometimes we have to push the projects to the next morning. It's just the way that it is. So lots to do still. You can see here the onions and everything are coming up now in the beds. Look at all this greenery. This makes me so happy, you guys, watching this stuff and watching it grow and collecting it. And the aroma of everything smells amazing. You can see it's early in the morning, so the radishes are happy. They're standing up. I don't know if there's anything big. Oh, maybe. A little small. But you can also eat radish leaves too. They're really good for you. We're going to leave these in. Oh, there's a bigger one here. Let's see. There we go. Throw it in a salad. I'm thinking we can have one of those today, so I'm going to harvest some leaves. But radishes are perfectly happy. That's my catnip. You can see the mint is taken off, but I always leave it in a cup because it just takes over your entire bed if you don't. These little guys coming up here are going to be dwarf sunflowers, so we'll have a bit of dwarf sunflowers to kind of make it a little cheerful in this corner. Burdock. Lots of weeds, but there is blueberries in there. That's the other thing. I still have to do a lot of weeding. Here is my rice. So the rice is going to take a while, but now it's actually doing pretty good. I can see that it's getting bigger. So this is an experiment. I'm growing it in the greenhouse. Let's see how it goes. Blackberries are coming up. Of course, that's the heirloom asparagus. That's the other thing we're putting outside too, is another asparagus bed. Our corn is doing amazing. Look how tall the corn ended up being so far. So this is the double red corn. I think maybe 2 videos ago that, this wasn't even over this bed, and now they're starting to get taller. So that's amazing. All right, so you can see I've been out here cleaning up. So I got to the first strawberry bed. Today's one more task to add is going to the back 40 greenhouse and tidying up that strawberry bed. But here you can see I've tidied it up. I've pulled out a lot of the, just the dead stuff and cleaned out the leaves. So that's done. I gave it a little kick of fertilizer. So strawberry and rose fertilizer, gave it some of that. So it's good to go. So over here, cleaning out this bed. So we've got our peppers, just moving all kinds of stuff around. I cleaned out this bed because the intentions with this is to move the hascaps that are doing really, really well. You can see here they've already started to flower. Hopefully you can see that, which means they're going to give me berries this year. Now, hascaps cross-pollinate. So you have to have certain hascaps will cross-pollinate with each other, and that's what you want. If you have a monocrop, they will not produce berries. So you actually have to get the right hascap with the right hascap to pollinate each other, if that makes sense. So here, look at all of this. Wow, this one is full of flowers. They just haven't opened yet. So these guys will be moving to my front hascap yard basically once they're done. I'll probably move them in the fall. And, well, any of you who actually took the calendula seed that I sent, calendula, if you don't get all the seeds from the flowers in time, like here is one of the seed husks here. If you don't get all of the seed out of your garden, it will self-sow itself every year. So if you're okay with that, that's great. You can see here there's more growing, but you never, never, never have to worry about calendula because it just drops its seed, and wherever it drops, it's where it's going to regrow. So it's very easy to take over your garden if you don't collect all the seeds. So just a word of warning to those who have calendula seed. Mine is turbo. Mine will take over your garden. Here's the peas. So the peas are doing great out here. I've got some peas on the inside too, but now that it's, turned out to be almost 90 degrees in the greenhouse every day, they probably won't do so well. More asparagus. Asparagus coming up here. I'm trying to stay out of the sun so you can see. Oh, here's some more. And we still have more asparagus to plant. Good grief. Okay, the peppers. Doing really, really, really well. I've got some really cool, unique other peppers that are going to be going out in the garden. These are flagpole scallions. I kept 3 of them, and I'll be saving the seed from those. They usually get about 2 feet tall, but of course they died over the winter and now they've come back. So if they give me some seed, which I think one here actually has a flower coming up. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I planted 4 of them. So here is the flower pod. So this will give me some seed, and then we'll be able to share that. So And then this year what I did was, rather than plant, of course, my potatoes in the other bed like I normally do, I planted them in here. So this is going to be my potato bed. And you know, I've got a few weeds here and there, but those are the breaks. I also see the mosquitoes are out after all that rain. Awesome. Not ready to deal with mosquitoes yet. We have another bed of asparagus here. You can see that the asparagus, remember the asparagus? I think I planted that, what, guys, 4 videos ago. So you can see they've already sort of busted through. So these were planted off 2-year crowns. So we're not going to pick it this time, although I am tempted. They look good. We're going to let these go to seed. And then next year, we're going to have a full crop of asparagus. Look at all the asparagus that came up. Wow. See here, more over here. So, oh, there's a big one here too. Awesome. I refuse to pay. In some spots, I think the most that I've seen asparagus at is $12.99 a pound. It's not happening. We'll grow it ourselves. All right, let's move this out of the way. Okay, garlic. So I was in here cleaning out all the weeds of the garlic, guys. So here is my Mateki garlic. Spicy, hot, really great to cook with garlic. So these this year are going to give me a full clove, like a full bulb of garlic. So Mateki garlic, I don't know how many varieties of garlic I have spread around the yard, but you can never have, Miss Wanda told me you can never have enough garlic. So little seeds, garlic seeds. We'll figure out what those ones are. I think they're a Red Russian. We'll see. This doesn't have anything in it. Well, it does. It has old spinach in it that decided to reseed itself, but we're not going to use it for that. This side of the bed can be used for something else. Haven't figured it out yet. I could potentially put the rest of my potatoes in here. We'll see. Not sure. Okay, guys, so that's it for me today. I just wanted to show you all the new updates in the greenhouse and the cattle panel, which is amazing. Thank you once again, hubby. Can't wait to see how it works. And guys, the mosquitoes are out, so I'm clearly going to have to spray if I want to be outside today. Thank God for a screened-in greenhouse. But I hope everybody really enjoyed the tour today, and I'm going to try and make a little bit more videos once we fill in those garden beds to show you. And then if my husband's out today doing the pond, I'll do a little snippet of that too. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.